Good morning to everybody, and good afternoon and lunch, depending on where you are. My name is Søren Fink Jensen. I'm the CEO and founder of One Click Factory, and I'm going to be your host today on this webinar related to the release of Business Central 2021 Wave 1 and what that will mean for the APAC region. The agenda for today is packed with interesting points of view. And first of all, I'll give you a little introduction to One Click Factory and what we do and how we are a place to get help when it comes to upgrading to Business Central SaaS. Then we'll have Raj Singh from Microsoft talking about what is new and what it does mean for the APAC market. It's very interesting. Among other things, there'll be some news around which localizations are available, which I actually found quite interesting because it's more widely available in APAC than what I thought. And then we have René Santos, one of our partners, that will talk about the overview and the challenges of around the Dynamics 365 and customers. And finally, we'll have Jonas, who'll talk about the different ways that you can bring your customers into the cloud to Business Central SaaS, and we'll end off at the end with a Q&A. And here's an overview of the presenters. And I think I forgot to say that René Santos is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Performance Advantage Systems. So welcome again to this webinar, and let's get started on the introduction of around One Click Factory. And One Click Factory is a company that specializes in upgrades. We were founded in 2009 with the mission of building tools and approaches to upgrading Business Central and finance and supply chain management in a more effective way than what we normally see in the partner channel. Over the years, we have developed more services, and our mission has become to build services that actually help our partners deliver profits and revenue growth. We have more than 300 partners worldwide that use our services, and we have local representation in 11 regions across the world. Our revenue at this point in time is around 10 million euros, and we have 120 employees, all Microsoft experts, I would call it, which also shows up in our gold certifications. And then 4 years ago, we were nominated to become a Microsoft ISV Development Center. And we have helped, I think, more than 200 ISVs moving their apps or their add-ons into apps on AppSource. And that is help for everything from an hour of consulting to training in how to develop AL, to full projects where we actually develop the app on behalf of the partner or upgraded the app. As you can see on the right side of this slide, we basically have our services across 3 platforms: finance and supply chain management. We have a good team there, our Business Central team, which is the core of the business. And in the recent years, we've been investing in Power App and customer experience, and so we have a small team there as well. And everything that we do is actually through partner. One last service that I would like to mention here is that we'll come back to as well, is that we have a hosting service on Asia for Business Central on-prem that has more than 20,000 users. I think it's about 2,000 customers from more than 170 partners worldwide. So how can you think about One Click Factory services? Well, one of the ways to look at them is how they support you in the customer partner journey to the cloud, right? And if you are in the process of trying to find new customers and to build a pipeline of customers, either for upgrades from your own customer base or new, we support on the generating leads, and that is basically about materials that we support with that you can find on our portal. If you go to oneclickfactory.com, you can log in and you can get our two customer sales materials there. If you then need to get into the sales phase, we support with demo environments. So if you need to have a special setup for Business Central on-prem, for instance, to show it, maybe together with some customizations or other things, we can deliver that kind of environment for you. And then we can also help you in the assessment of what it costs to do an upgrade. We'll come back to that later, and that's a free service. When you deploy, well, then of course we can deploy on Azure for you. We can also give you a fixed price upgrade, and Jonas will come back to how that works. And then usually when you get your solution in the cloud, there might be some customizations that need to be built, and we have developers that can help with that. Once you are in Business Central SaaS, you know that Microsoft has a quite schedule of releases, 12 per year, 2 major. And one of the things that you need to do is, of course, make sure that your solution is always working on the new builds that Microsoft releases on SaaS. And if that is not something that you want to take care of, we have an extension maintenance or CU upgrade service that you can look into. Finally, if you have your NAV base of customers that you want to move to Business Central SaaS, we have the upgrade analyzer that can help you fix price the upgrade and the work of that. So that's how we support through the customer partner lifecycle. And this is an overview of what you get if you go with our upgrade analyzer. All you basically need to do here is take the FOB file of your NAV installation, log into our website and create an upgrade service. And then you should upload the FOB file. And between 3 and 5 days later, we release 5 simulation scenarios of what it takes to upgrade that solution to Business Central SaaS. There is 3 options to Business Central SaaS and 2 options to Business Central on-prem. You get the pricing and you get the different services that are in there, and you can simulate taking out services and putting in services. And then we have, like I said, we have our self-provisioning service, which is an Azure hosting service. It's a self-service, so you can log on to a portal and basically provision Business Central on-prem in many different places across the world. I'll give you an overview of that. And what is the key benefit? Well, besides being an all-inclusive service that sells at $28 per user per month, and it includes, of course, redundancy, backup services, and monitoring, all the things that you need to make sure that your customers' data are safe. But it also includes a provisioning piece where it basically takes 10 minutes to spin up a server on any of the languages that are available from Microsoft and any of the localizations that are available from Microsoft. And just to say, we know from partners that if they have to do this themselves, the first time they try it, it probably would take somewhere between 40 and 50 hours of work. As you get better, you can bring it down to 10, but we've automated it all, so it's quite time-saving. Good offering. And here's an overview of where we have this service across the world. The white dots are the data centers that we support, and you can see we support a data center in Australia and one in Singapore. Those are probably the most relevant for the people on the call today. But from our portal, you can provision on any of these data centers. So if you have a customer in the States, you could provision on a data center in the US as well from our portal. A little bit more about the extensions, extension maintenance. I talked a bit about this before. And as you can see here, what we have here is basically a test and fix service. So what we do is we take the extensions, the custom extensions that you built, or if you want to do it on your ISV extension for AppSource, we can do it as well. When Microsoft releases a new build, which they do some months before, they actually put it into operation. we take that build and we run test scripts for the extensions that are available on the customer tenant. And if there's something that breaks, we fix it. And that way you make sure that when Microsoft rolls the build on into operations, that your customer will continue to operate. So those would be kind of the key services related to Business Central and SaaS. And here's a little slide about what our partners say. And as you can see, we have partners basically everywhere. We get good words on the way. Our approach is that we deliver quality services. We make a lot of investments to make sure that what we deliver is very good quality. And with that, I will give the word now to Raj, who will bring us through what are the news related to Wave 1 release. Over to you, Raj.
Thank you so much for that, Soren. And first of all, thank you for the opportunity. ISV data centers like One Click Factory and partners like Parsi play a very key role when it comes to Business Central and our customers. So first of all, let me thank you for that. And thank you for everyone who's taken the time out to listen to us today. I hope you're staying safe. I know situations have changed across Asia Pacific. So hope you're safe, your family is safe. And with that, I'll get started. So a quick introduction to me. I'm Raj Singh. I'm based out of Singapore. I'm the Asia Pacific Product Marketing Lead for Business Central and Power Platform. My intention today is to kind of give you a walkthrough of what it really means to be a part of the Business Central ecosystem and what it means to be a part of the broader Microsoft suite of services and how that can impact your business and how you can help your customers in actualizing that benefit. So the uniqueness of Microsoft, and I love saying this term, we have a menu card of items, right? We have a menu card of items across infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. And at the core of everything is identity, security, management, and compliance, which we hold very dear at Microsoft. So when it comes to business applications, it plays a role across software as a service and platform as a service, with Power Platform giving you that extensibility, and Dynamics 365 being the family of business applications products that we have. Now, the way we look at Microsoft business applications is slightly different from how our competitors look at it. They look at it from a traditional CRM versus an ERP perspective. We look at it from more of a departmental perspective. So when we look at traditional CRM applications, you have Dynamics for sales, marketing, customer service, customer voice. Whereas on the ERP side, you have core modules across finance, operations, supply chain management, and then Business Central. You see that highlighted there because it brings the goodness of CRM and ERP together into one. And if you add Power Platform as the next mile of digital transformation, you can actually customize the solution a lot more easier. And Business Central is not new. I love the fact that One Click Factory calls it NAV/Business Central, and that shows you, even after 3 years, the beauty of Navision as a product, and when we launched that in the market, was that customers loved it. You could take it, you could customize it, and it could be part of what you meant as an organization. Now, there are good things with Navision, and then there are bad things with Navision. So with Navision, you are stuck on premise. You are stuck in that environment because you've customized it to such a big degree that now, if you want to move to the cloud, it's a journey that you're not willing to take or you're hesitant to take. And when you walk through today's session and overall, I hope we bring some confidence in you in terms of saying, yes, I am willing to consider a migration, and I'm willing to think about what Business Central would look like. What we did was in spring of 2018 is when we launched Business Central in Asia Pacific as well. We released this in a way that you can actually implement this across all three models. So the pure cloud deployment, the hybrid deployment, and the on-premise one. So depending upon where you are as a business and what your priorities look like, you have the freedom to customize what your migration journey looks like. Right now, Asia Pacific, and I'm proud to say this, that we've been adding countries pretty much every year. We've been working with partners such as Parsi to help build localization, and today we have more than 150 plus partners selling Business Central and 700 plus customers using Business Central Cloud. There's still a larger base which is using Business Central on-premise as well, and we experienced 250% year-on-year growth in users. So customers who've taken that step have shown a lot of happiness, and they're really happy about the fact that the customizations they thought were very dear to them they're not as relevant for them today as they were 10 years back. We've acquired a lot of logos across the board in different industries. Kelly Roofing has been a Business Central customer for us for the past 10 years. Today, they're going even deeper in terms of investing in Power Platform across Power Apps and Automate. Polytropic, a manufacturing client that we had, was one of the first Navision to Business Central migrations that we achieved. So they're a big part of our portfolio today. And in Asia Pacific, we continue to grow month over month. I won't walk through what the capabilities of Business Central is. Business Central means different things to different customers. The net of it is the Business Central is the easiest way that you can bring your accounting and supply chain to the cloud. That's the easiest way to think about when you think about people with, whether you're 20 users or 100 users, that is the basics of what Business Central will do for you. And then we bring in that industry flavor with the extensions that our partners build with you. So let's go through what we focused on 2021 release wave 1. The first thing, and this is specific for Asia Pacific, we are available pretty much all across Asia Pacific now. We'll also be adding Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. I know the countries were super excited. Our partners there have played a key role for us to actually light this up as a market. So it will be coming very, very soon as part of the release plan. But what we really wanted to do was, how do we make Business Central easy to use? And we use the term easy to use very loosely, but it means a lot for our customers. The amount of time that they spend on user adoption and support is insane, to say the least. So we want to make sure that our product reflects our focus on ease of use. So we focused a lot on onboarding, things like guided tours and getting started checklists. We focused on the better together story with Microsoft. A lot of Business Central customers or Navision customers actually use O365 and Teams. So how do we create synergies across the product that you can leverage as a customer using things like Teams, Dataverse, Excel, and Outlook? One of those famous quotes from our customers is that I can manage my entire procure-to-pay cycle all within Outlook. That's the first application I open as a Microsoft employee, and that's the first application a lot of people open up when they wake up in the morning. So the ability to do this all within Outlook is amazing, and we wanted to bring that extensibility to Teams. The other thing we wanted to really focus on was performance, especially in Asia Pacific, where internet connectivity can vary according to country and where you're based out of. You really want to make sure that our product reflects our focus on performance, so that we have the level of confidence of somebody sitting in central Kuala Lumpur versus somebody who's 500 kilometers away is the same. And that's our focus from an engineering perspective when it comes to Business Central. So better together with Teams. Again, this is that entire thing about how do we bring the same experience of Outlook to Teams. Teams is now the default application post the pandemic. So we want to bring that goodness that we had from Outlook and bring it over to Teams. And essentially that becomes the hub of every communication and managing your entire procure-to-pay cycle. Essentially, one of the features that was heavily requested on ak.ms/BC ideas was having universal print. And that's where we listen to all your feedback as customers and partners as to what features you want to see in the product. And that's something we actualized through universal print. This was a major challenge in terms of exporting all of this to PDF and then printing it separately. Now this functionality is built in within Business Central in the latest release. So this is a classic example, and that's why I wanted to kind of showcase this, is that when you give us feedback on ak.ms/BC ideas, our engineering teams listen. There's a whole voting system, so please contribute towards it. Encourage your customers, if you're a partner, to help you, surface those feature and improvements. We're always listening to what your feedback. The performance improvements, and I spoke about the fact that Asia Pacific has a challenge of internet connectivity across the board. Urban centers versus centers that are spread across have an issue. So we really want to make sure that our performance gains reflect that. So we have really focused on, performance gain across 20% faster on role center pages, 40% faster on background document batches, and request performance up to 36 times faster than what we had before. The net of it is that what we also wanted to introduce was the ability for our partners to test it out. So what we heard from our customers is, how can I test this out in my own environment? How do I know that this is not going to slow down? It's looking great when you show me on a demonstration. How do I test it out for myself? And that's where we released the performance toolkit. And you can access this through ak.ms/performance/BC performance. And you can test this out currently only in sandbox environments for your customers. We are working now on bringing this to a production environment so they can get a live feed of how the performance is working. But we, from an engineering perspective, we are constantly focused on performance, and that's something we will continue to focus on as we build our Business Central. All right, so next steps. Again, as if you're a partner, please go through the release plan. We have we have 2 release cycles across the year, in April and in October. We release the plan 3 months in advance so that you have a chance to check it out, to prepare your customers, prepare them up for updates, and that's a key role that partners and ISV dev centers play together. You can check out the new ak.ms/BC Learn courses. We have recently launched the MB 800 examination for you to upskill your functional and technical resources. And ak.ms/BC ideas, things like universal print, really come to life when customers and partners contribute towards it, and engineering teams are constantly listening to see what we need to focus on. So once again, apologies for me dropping off in the middle. I hope this was informative. With that, I'll pass it over to Rene. Rene.
Okay. Thank you so much, Raj. I also had to log out because my mouse is no longer working. So hopefully this is now okay. Okay. So good morning, everyone. And thank you for inviting us in this webinar. For One Click Factory, Raj, and the rest of the partners that are in this call. So, let me just start by just giving you a short introduction of Performance Advantage Systems International, or PASI. We were incorporated in year 2002 to introduce Navision in the Philippines, starting with version 4. Then we have worked with Microsoft through the years to help them in the development of the Philippine localization, to address the government's tax requirements for the NAV versions, and now for Dynamics 365 Business Central. So, let me now, I would like to share with you, I know partners have done this, but let me share with you our experience, our challenges that we face for customers, their perception, the market opportunities for Business Central that we think, and the actions that we have done moving forward. So, so let me start with this slide that talks about the challenges that a consulting or services partner like us faces in the course of the engagement. One of them would be razor-thin profit margins. The landscape has changed or driven by the nature of the customer's demand to have a quick turnaround on setting up their systems in the cloud. Partners now are looking for ways to help enable customers in the cloud as swiftly as possible. So the approach is more of a run rate now, as opposed to the traditional implementation, which can take as long as 6 months or more before. But now, profit margins are impacted. Partners will need to be more creative and look for ways to provide more value-added services to customers to increase their profit. Another challenge that we actually faced would be the budget and resource constraints. Why do we say so? It's actually very critical to ensure that customers understand the importance of assigning a dedicated project team, as oftentimes this impacts not just the budget due to delays, but the entire project timeline as well. Information silos, for example, is another challenge that we're having. This is oftentimes a challenge because in starting a project, as information comes in trickles, so now it impacts the project implementation timeline as customers end up preparing the needed info only during the course of the project instead of prior. Inefficient manual process. Inconsistent and manual processes pose a challenge to us in implementing any system. For customers who go through business process review, this could be sorted out. But however, for those who do not, it will be ideal to have the customer standardize the way their processes in order to have a smooth flow of implementation. With the current pandemic, mobile and remote workforce becomes a challenge to us. Getting the project team and support team of the customer can be a challenge in terms of following, like security access, internet, and latency across remote locations, communication protocols. And lastly, I consider global competition as a challenge. This is very prevalent with customers' regional and global access to a lot of options. The challenge to us partners is how to make ourselves relevant to our customers, that they choose us instead. Now, sharing with you some of the uh, sharing with you some of the customers' common perceptions and concerns in implementing Dynamics 365 Business Central. This slide presents some of the more common scenarios customers normally raise to their partners, sharing with you some tips on how we address by citing specific points or processes, and more so impact implementing Dynamics 365 Business Central. As mentioned by Raj in his presentation a while ago, the features and advantages of Business Central, the way it's so structured, makes us a solution advisor to our clients. Now, when it comes to cost, for example, we come up with a total cost of ownership to show that cloud is the way to go, and likewise emphasize the benefit of having a system up to date, which can result to a lot of savings in terms of migrating them to newer versions.
How do we spot opportunities in the market? While we may have access to market intelligence and IT spending of each market, we will eventually have to go down to the level of the detail of understanding each and every customer's pain to say that this is opportunity for Business Central. So this slide that I'm showing you right now is exactly showing you customer scenarios with identified business pains, where you can suggest that they need an efficient cloud-based supply chain management system. In your day-to-day conversation with the customer, some examples could be non-unified systems preventing product on-time delivery or inventory issues. These are spot-on opportunities to drive the value proposition of implementing a cloud-based Dynamics 365 Business Central that will provide end-to-end visibility of their supply chain and make data-driven decisions. Oh gosh, what happened here? Okay, so it seems like I'm having problems here. So making that decisions on supply and demand.
You need the slide moved.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm sorry for that. So, are we in the financial operations risk management slide, right? At the moment?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry for that, guys. So for this one, similarly, a lot of our customers may not realize that they can manage their financial operations effectively and reduce risk if they have a robust financial management system like Dynamics 365 Business Central. An FMS that is secured on the cloud, managed by Microsoft, enables customers to effectively manage their financial operations, cash flow, credit, and collection while ensuring regulatory compliance. The moment you spot on scenarios that describe financial, I would say, financial risk, revenue losses, fraud, increasing regulations and compliance, these are all opportunities for Dynamics 365 Business Central. Now, lastly, which is for me, one of which that we were able to successfully do, is that the opportunity that lies with existing customers who will need eventually to upgrade their systems and move to Dynamics 365 Business Central. Just to share with you, Performance Advantage in a span of 8 months took this move, and we were able to move 26% of our active on-premise Navision customers to Dynamics 365 Business Central. In fact, we have moved them to the cloud rather than to BC on-prem. We actually gave them the tips, how I showed them the way to go. And one click is one partner that will be able to help you here. I will let Jonas, our next speaker, describe this more. He will be in a better position to say that. They have made a good way of doing migration easily, make our lives easier. So I will reserve that for him because he is in the more best position to do that. But let me assure you that this is one opportunity that we were able to use in order to move them to the cloud. So to close off, let me just share with you as a partner some tips on how to improve on your current customer offering if you are still offering the traditional approach. I mentioned there, know your customers, ensure your value proposition resonates well, differentiate your 365 Business Central offering, implement a simplified process for smooth customer experience, execute a customer success engagement plan for optimization and full deployment, and offer support or managed services for long-term partnership. Because when you go to the cloud, this is all now pure service for us. So the key point today is ensuring that you are able to earn your customers' trust, keep them happy by partnering them in their cloud journey, provide value-added services that make business sense to them. So with that, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your time. And Jonas, your turn. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rene, for introduction. And my name is Jonas Mikalkėnas, and I'm presenting One Click Factory as well. And I will present it for more practical side as I'm working on real customer solution upgrades to Business Central SaaS. So first of all, maybe all of you have a question. Are your customers ready for SaaS? And are they ready now to be upgraded at meantime? And let's imagine we have customer solutions. Those solutions are very different and running in different versions. So we need to answer this list of questions first before understanding, is the solution ready for SaaS? How complicated would it be to upgrade it, and which way to choose in this journey? Because it depends on running solutions, on the amount of new features, and especially on the data quantity and database size, or need to keep historical data and all more questions like this. But first of all, we need to think. We need to think about architecture of solution, because we had a long year experience with older Navision, Business Central, and AV versions, and good practice it was to customize everything. And customers have years of history of customizations. Sometimes they have no idea why they did it 15 years ago, but now approach should change, because cloud technology is a little bit different than on-premise, and moving complex on-premise solution architecture to cloud is a little bit different thing than some people imagine. And sometimes you need to change your architecture, you need to restructure and rethink all your integrated subsystems to be compatible with cloud, because you will have different access to your servers, to your file systems. Everything should be moved online, should be secure, and we need to change approach that everything should be moved to Business Central. That all subsystems, all data operations. It was very popular some time ago to have everything in Business Central SaaS, not in SaaS in Navision and Business Central NAV, but now approach is changing, because Business Central SaaS is not the right place for massive operations, for everything you have, or all your warehouse operations, or all your operations with sales. It's main place for your finalizing of operations. But if you have something very specific, it's it's better to to have it in separate subsystems and integrate it with SaaS using web services. And very important direction to work is Power Platform and Azure, because this new opportunity gives you lots of possibilities to re-implement your older solutions using modern ways, using APIs, using powerful analytical system like Power BI, using Azure Blob Storage for keeping your large quantity of documents. And by the way, it's very good opportunity for you. I just moved some solutions using Azure Blob Storage, and keeping large document quantities there is thousands of times cheaper, and it's working perfectly fast, and it's easier and easier integrated with Business Central SaaS. Yeah. So by the way, we had poll there, and we asked participants of this of this webinar, are they ready to SaaS? And we see results. So 69% of you are thinking that you are ready for SaaS just now, and it's very nice to hear. And of course, 23% are still not ready, and my next slides will support this opinion as well, because not always you can go to SaaS, even if you want. And yeah, 8% saying that they don't know. Okay, now let's talk about solutions we can move to SaaS. So first of all, the easiest way is to move solution without customizations when you are running on pure or very slightly modified NAV or Business Central on-prem standard. So this way of moving we name Clean Start, and it means that we move only data. We can take also data of small customizations doing Clean Starts, creating table extensions for standard fields and custom tables for custom tables of customer. Then a big part of solutions, they have obsolete customizations. This is an example when you had 15 or 20 years of customizing history. Nobody remembers why you did those customizations. New standard has new features that you implemented by yourself when it was not available. So, or people who ordered those customizations are not working in customer's company anymore. Then best way is just to go to pure Business Central SaaS standard. We can move this data using the same Clean Start approach, and then do some development with for new additional features this customer needs. So for partners, we can offer this Clean Start approach, move everything to standard, and then partner is able to create his own extension for some customer needs, just discarding all old customizations and creating only those that are really needed in current time. And then we have two options for real upgrade. So if your solution is slightly modified, then we see green color that it's easy to upgrade to SaaS by creating simple extension and by upgrading this code, like we did many times for on-premise solutions. And yeah, if solution is heavily customized, it's still possible to move because, and with every new major release of Business Central, it's easier and easier to do it because we are getting lots of new features, lots of technical things that helping us. I started moving solutions with Business Central 13 with more than 2 years ago, and it was very complicated. Only a few % of solutions was possible to move at that time. But with every new release, this percent grows. And now we can say that almost everything is impossible, but upgrading complicated solutions is still very expensive. So you need to think twice, and you need to think about other options I will present soon. So how to understand which solution is lightly customized and which is heavy one, where is the line? Of course, light customization means that it's easy to create extension from those customizations. It's easy to clean up standard and create everything using extension way. And it means that all changes should be additive. So if something additional is added, it's easy to extend. So additional fields, actions, functions, new objects, functionalities which can be easily removed using standard events created by creating publishers. And yeah, if it's web client compatible, if it's no big connections to on-prem features like file servers in local environments. So if everything can be moved online, then you are lightly customized. And yeah, if you have destructive changes, if something is removed, if key functionality is changed, some obsolete old functionalities are heavily customized. If you use a lot file servers, system tables that is not supported in SaaS, if your Windows client is used in very heavy way, then yeah, it's possible, but it's expensive. And sometimes upgrading solution to newest on-prem and upgrading to SaaS, price can differ up to 7 times if your solution is too heavy. So, and also we have some other limitations of SaaS. When I started to do this kind of presentations, this list was very huge. Now we have only 4 main areas to discuss. So first of all is database size. Because you can move as a default only 80 gigabytes per tenant, and now from 1st of July it would be opportunity to add some gigabytes per user. But it's still not enough, because we know that average NAV solution it's from 200 to 300 gigabyte size. And that's already too big. You need to pay for additional space. This space now it's a lot cheaper than before. Yeah. It was cheaper by 8 times for beginning from 1st of July averagely. But yeah, but it's still not an option. You need to rethink data you keep in Business Central, and I will come to it in the next slide. Then, of course, big problem is add-ons, and this problem is solved as well in a very good way in last 2 years. But in on-premise, we have thousands of different third-party solutions, different add-ons for various vertical areas. But not all of those add-ons are upgraded already to SaaS. Not all of them have correct migration tools. I know that add-on providers are working hardly last years to be ready for SaaS, and most popular worldwide add-ons are already there. But you can have some challenges there, because some of add-ons are not upgraded. Some of add-ons you need to search in the market for alternatives, and it can be a problem. You need to evaluate, are your add-ons already there? Are they ready for migration before deciding to go to SaaS? Or you can survive without it. Then, yeah, some functionality is not compatible with SaaS. Some .NETs cannot be used. Some, as I say, it's file servers, connections, and working with some system tables, and For developers, it's very easy. When you create extension for on-premise and switch target to SaaS, you will see all not compatible features in red in Visual Studio Code. But yeah, from practical side, sometimes it's hard to implement everything, and it would take time. It would require very high knowledge, high professionality of your developers. But you need to implement those things using compatible features, or you need to say that time for SaaS for your customization is still not now. And then, yes, some event publishers can be missing if you want to customize exact place in standard code. But there you have possibility to request all those changes, not only events, but some other things like additional keys, additional enums instead of options, making procedures global from local, and many other things you can request from Microsoft using GitHub. But usually they approve your request or reject if it's not correct and suggest better solution in 2 or 3 weeks. But most probably your request would be fulfilled only in next major release. Or even in second after now. So if I will order something today, it would come in October, for example. So then you need to think about another approach of upgrading, what we name lift and shift. So it means that we recommend you to upgrade then your solution to latest on-prem version, request missing things from Microsoft and leave them in base app as some modifications. And then when all your requested things are already there, after the next major release, you can finish this project and upgrade it to SaaS. So this is a good way for more complicated solutions. Yeah. Then, yes, let's talk a little bit about data. As I said, 80 gigabytes plus several gigabytes per user, it's not enough for some solutions. And then you need to think. You need to delete all data you don't need. You need to think about taking only operational data. For example, if you have 20 years of history, but your business needs only 2 or 3 of them to make returns, to make some operational things, then it's no reason to keep everything in database. You can leave only last year's and use, for example, Power BI or other analytical solution to analyze your older data and get reporting from there. And yes, blob storage is as well an option. And I think for now, keeping only operational data or moving data to blob storage for some functionalities, it's quite expensive because you need pure development solution, because you cannot do it without having involvement of your developers. But I heard already that in next releases we will get more and more tools to do it in simple way. So I think this is direction you need to think, and if your solution is too big today, it don't mean that it would be too big next year. Okay, and then let's go to the slide Soren already showed to you in first part of this webinar. And there are options of one-click factory services. All those things I mentioned that now you can order in our portal, and you can see the price, uploading FOB file of your objects of old solution. You can see price of all 5 options of upgrading solution. So clean start to SaaS means first option I mentioned that for solutions with no customizations, or if you don't want to have those customizations, if you plan to recreate them later. So this is cheapest option. Then upgrade to SaaS is for all those slightly and heavily customized solutions by creating extension and making them compatible to SaaS. Then we have phase transition or lift and shift, in other words, when we do it in 2 phases. So you will get you will get exact price for first phase for upgrading solution to on-prem and approximate price to second phase. Then we have two options for on-premise. So we can do clean start on or upgrade to on-premise. And as I said, upgrade to on-premise can be up to 7 times cheaper than upgrade to SaaS for complicated solutions. It means because we are leaving some customizations in base app and things that are not compatible with SaaS can be easily left as base app customizations in on-prem. So we can upgrade it in this way, and then it is cheaper. Of course, if we move everything from the standard, then price is quite similar to upgrade to SaaS. So there are main options. You can reach them using our portal. Yeah, and it is my part of presentations. I'm giving word back to Søren.
So thank you for presenting today. I think I can shortly summarize. Ras showed us that the Business Central SaaS offering is stronger than ever. I think it's quite impressive, actually, what has been released in the last wave, and it is really easy to see on the customer experience of Business Central SaaS, the performance and also the improvements on integration and the full offering from Microsoft in that part of it. So I can say that I know for sure that it works, because my wife started using Business Central in her business last month. So she's very happy with it. So and then we had René, who talked about how to work with the customers and the challenges and the pain points to address when you actually bring your customers to SaaS. And I think there's lots of things to work on to be the trusted advisor of your customer, and that way helping them getting the benefits out of their solution. And finally, Jonas talked about the ways to bring your existing customer base up to Business Central SaaS. There are lots of options, and I would also say that we see that the number of migrations to Business Central SaaS is increasing faster than the amount of migrations to Business Central on-prem. And it's of course because more and more it's possible to do rather easily into Business Central SaaS. So that would be kind of a summary of today's presentations. If you have any questions, we have a Q&A part you can press on, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. If not, you can also, of course, mail to us, and that way engage directly with us on questions.
Yeah, and I see we have one question I can quickly answer. So
Okay.
Wei Chang is asking, what about the performance and database size? And as I know, in the beginning, you could not upload large databases on SaaS. So about performance, I can say only good things after latest releases, because we're really struggling in Business Central 13 or 14 in year 2018 and 19, but then situation went 10 times better and maybe more. And current upgrades of performance are quite impressive, and now customers are feeling comfortable. Nobody complains, or at least it's not worse than on-prem. So, and about database size, I already told a bit. And currently, we are feeling very comfortable upgrading solutions up to 100 gigabytes, but now we have possibilities to upgrade bigger solutions as well.
And if I can add something there, Jonas, I think it's something that we get a lot from our APAC customers and partners. And storage has been an issue that we've addressed very recently with our announcement at Directions Asia. Now, that being said, when it comes to migration, we spoke about like how it's a technical and functional conversation, and across our partners and One Click Factory, we can answer a lot of those. But It's really about a digital strategy that is being set at the beginning. I'll give a story, right? So in Singapore, we had two customers, same industry, similar time in the industry, with two very different leaders. So one leader said, you know what, I believe in Marie Kondo. I believe that whatever doesn't bring me joy, I don't want it anymore. I want the newest thing of it. That individual said, give me Business Central Cloud, put all my old data on a Power BI database, and I'm fine. The other person was like, you know what, this is critical to me. I need to move everything. The same partner went through an extensive cycle of moving their customizations, and eventually they made the transition. Now, was one path better than the other? Not really. It's really about setting your digital strategy at the beginning. What do you believe in is going to be critical to your business? You might be the same organization doing the same stuff, but it's all about priorities, and your leadership at the customer will help you define that. So they can allocate budgets that are required for a migration scenario to engage partners, to engage one-click factory and ISV dev centers. So always, when it comes to migration, talk to the business leaders to help you set that context at the beginning.
Thank you, Rai. Any other questions? So then I think I will close for today. Thank you all for listening in. Thank you to the speakers, and be safe out there. We still have some time to go before we are through this pandemic, but Microsoft is providing us good tools to do business anyway, right? So thank you all and have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.